story of the very first Christmas when a very special baby was born. You've probably heard of him. He is called Jesus and he is the Son of God. His mother was Mary and she was married to Joseph. You've probably heard of them too. Here they are now. You've probably not heard of Grumble though. Here he is, Grumble the donkey. Grumble the donkey was very grumpy and liked nothing better than to grumble. He had grumpy ears, a grumpy nose and grumpy hooves. In fact, he was a whole bundle of grumbles. That day, however, he had much more to grumble about than usual. You see, mighty Caesar, who is so famous you have definitely heard of him, had called for a census and everyone had to travel to the place of their birth to be counted. For Mary and Joseph, that meant travelling all the way to Bethlehem. It was a really long and difficult journey, especially for Mary, who was about to have a baby. Luckily, they had a donkey. Yes, that's right. Guess who had to carry Mary all the way? The journey seemed to go on forever. Grumble rolled his eyes. Joseph had said that 5 times already. Grumble had aching ears, an aching nose, and aching hooves. Finally, they arrived in Bethlehem. Unfortunately, so had everyone else in the land. At least that's what it felt like. Mary and Joseph were pushed and shoved, barged on, trodden on, and barged past. It was enough to make even the cheeriest donkey cross. Grumble, however, was not a cheery donkey.
There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for anyone. We're absolutely full. There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for anyone. We're absolutely full. You come and knock at the door, but we can't take it anymore. The inns are packed, and that's a fact. There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for anyone. We're absolutely full. There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for anyone. We're absolutely full. You can bang, 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 bang at the door, but we can't take it anymore. The inns are packed, and that's a fact. There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for anyone. We're absolutely full. There's no room for you. There's no room for you. There's no room for anyone. We're absolutely full.
However, there was one innkeeper who felt sorry for Mary and Joseph. He had no room to spare, but suddenly he had an idea. They could use his stable. Grumble didn't like the sound of this. Stables were for animals, like him. The last thing he wanted was humans in the nice quiet stable. And as for a crying baby, that sounded like a whole bundle of trouble. He decided to stay outside, where he could whinge and moan to himself in peace. Very satisfying. Meanwhile, in the hills above Bethlehem, some shepherds watched over their flock of sheep. You might have heard of them too. The sheep were being very naughty. Being naughty is one of the things that sheep are very good at, along with leaping over fences and knitting. It was bedtime and the sheep really didn't want to go to sleep. Suddenly there was a bright flash in the sky. The shepherds were terrified and fell to the ground, covering their eyes and wondering what was going to happen. But the shepherds found the whole thing a little bit scary. They desperately wanted to see the newborn baby king, and they wanted to take him a gift. But they were only poor shepherds. What could they possibly give him?
We're just poor shepherds, we don't have much to bring. What can we give to the special new king? But we will bring him everything we've got. The little lamb has given from us to him.
You see it? shepherds were travelling to Bethlehem. Travelling across the desert came 3 people who were far from poor and humble. There's a good chance you've heard of them too. They were very wise kings with their camels, and they had been following a star from the east for a very long time. The star the kings were following was very big. They knew it would lead them all the way to the special baby, the Son of God. The star had stopped over a stable. The stable was peaceful and bathed in the warm glow of love, which came from a tiny little baby snoozing in the manger. In their hearts, they all knew that Jesus was a very special baby. The kings and shepherds suddenly realized that they had no worry or doubt left in their hearts. The kings left gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The shepherds left a lamb. They all gathered around,
I need to get that lamb.
all except one little donkey. Suddenly, Grumble didn't feel quite so grumpy anymore. What was this strange sensation inside him? He tiptoed over to the manger, feeling shy. He peered inside and gave his biggest, broadest, donkeyiest grin. The baby wasn't a bundle of trouble at all. In fact, he looked like a whole bundle of joy. All his grumbles disappeared. As he looked around, he realised everyone else felt it too. They felt it in their ears, they felt it in their noses, and they felt it in their hooves. But most of all, they felt it where it really counts, in their hearts. Everyone in that humble little stable was filled to bursting with wonder, love and joy. And from that day on, Grumble realised the true power of joyfulness and never grumbled again. Well, not much anyway.